Well, hello everybody. Okay, so I'm hopping on a little bit later tonight because it is New Year's Day, and so normally we'd be going live in the morning, but today you're getting an evening time. We've been gone, just got back, had dinner with the family, but I did not want to miss our day 3 of the 20 questions to reinvent your life because part of what I said at the beginning of all of this was my commitment is to show up consistently and to show up every single day for 20 days. We're going to be going over these different questions. These are important questions at the beginning of the year to step back and to reevaluate where we are, where we want to go, and what needs to change to make that happen. We talked last time about this saying, the pain you will not change, right? We will not change. We will not do something different until the pain of staying the same is greater than that pain of change. So I'm going to go ahead and in the comments, I'm going to put the 20, grab your 20 questions. Let me go ahead and put this here. So you can grab, if you want to get the whole workbook like right up front, you can go ahead and you can grab that right here and it'll give you all 20 questions right off the bat. We're going to go over today question number 3. Okay, so let's go ahead and we're going to pull that up. Question 3 is, what activities or interests bring me genuine joy and fulfillment? So what questions and activities bring me joy and fulfillment? And this is interesting because a few years ago, I was kind of asking myself this question. Now, this is going to be highly dependent on your personality. We did in December in the Hey Girl You Can community, we did a whole session about your drivers. What drives you? These are like your basic needs. Are you somebody who's a love and fun and pleasure person? Are you somebody who's a freedom and choice person, a power and achievement? Like there's different drivers. And when you are working and living in your driver, in your lane, life works. Things are good. You're in a good place. We kind of call it the zone. When you're out of that, when you're out of alignment, you can feel drained. You can feel like you have no energy, a lack of focus, a lack of fulfillment and joy, these things that we're talking about. So part of what we want to do this year is figure out what are the things that light you up, that bring you joy, that bring you that fulfillment. We'll talk next time about how to get more of that into your life. But tonight, we just want to acknowledge those things, recognize those things. Okay. So one of the things that I really like, you guys know, I love words. Words have energy behind them. Just from a very biblical standpoint, God spoke the universe into existence and we are made in the image of God, which means that what we say, our words have power. Now, you don't have to be a Christian to kind of align with that. You could believe in the universe or manifestation or all of those things, but words are powerful. And we know this on a very deep level because a lot of times as adults, we are dealing with words that were spoken to us at some point within our life, right? That damaged us, that kind of got into us on a cellular level that we took as truth, right? So we hear this with adults saying, well, when I was younger, I heard this, or my parent said this, or an ex, boyfriend or girlfriend said this, or an ex-husband said this, or, whatever it is. And those words can cut very deep. Why is that? You would say, well, it's just a word. It's because words are really powerful. So let's actually look up, what do these words mean when we're talking about joy and fulfillment? And I love I think it's the etymology dictionary. It goes back to like what the root word was. What does it actually mean? Not just what we think it means today. And so joy is a feeling of pleasure and delight. Okay. And so when you think of that as a verb, then it's to feel gladness or pleasure. So what is it that gives you a feeling of pleasure and delight? Like, what would you love to do more of that brings you this joy, that brings you this delight? Think about the things, if you're like, I'm not really sure. Think about the things that you loved to do when you were younger, when you were in high school. What were the things that you loved to do? Those might be really deep insight into what you maybe have stopped doing as an adult, as life and responsibilities and things took over and moved away from. So we're going to look up fulfillment. Let's take a look and see, because sometimes there are words and we think we know what they mean, but I really like to go back and say, maybe there's a meaning or something behind that word that I don't really know. All right, so let me pull that one up. Fulfillment. and see if something pops up with that. Oh, I think I spelled that wrong. Hold on. And in the comments, just if you're watching this or if you're catching the replay, I'd love to know, when you were younger, what are the things that you were doing that maybe you've moved away from, that you're not doing anymore, that you would love? So fulfillment, this is really interesting. So, well, that's fulfill. So let's look up fulfillment. Fulfillment is a filling or carrying out a completion, right? So that's not normally what we think of. We don't really think of a completion. To complete or finish. And this is interesting. So fulfill from the 1300s meant to satiate, satisfy, or gratify. And so I think that's really insightful when we're asking what activities or interests bring us fulfillment, what activities bring us satisfaction, gratification, and satiate us. They fill us. They so you're experiencing these feelings of delight and pleasure, but you're also getting this gratification. All right, so I'll give you guys an example. Probably about maybe 3-4 years ago, I kind of thought, everything I'm doing has to do with work. If you're an entrepreneur or you're creative, usually we really love what we do, but that can also mean that a lot of what we do is very focused on creating something that will monetize, right? It's for your job, it's for your business, it's for your career. We're constantly thinking like, how can I do this? What can I create here? How can I bring that? And I realized like that's everything that I was doing. And so I decided to go back and start taking piano lessons again. And I was like, I just want something that's creative, that fills my creative outlet. I went to school for theater. I played the piano through high school. I was always a very creative, kind of artsy person. And I had moved away from that just in the course of my career. Many of you guys know my story. When I was 20 years old, I got into a direct sales company. I'm still with that direct sales company. I fell in love with entrepreneurship. I fell in love with personal development. I then spent the next going on 27 years really learning about personal development, coaching, confidence, became certified in a bunch of things, went to coach school, got different certifications that help with supporting people to be their best. Life coaching, confidence coaching, RABT, all that kind of stuff. And so while I love that, I love being able to support people into being their best, into stepping into their greatness. It very much fulfills me because I believe, as you guys know, that I truly believe each person has value and significance and a gift to give the world. That also really moved me away. The entrepreneurial journey really moved me out of the arts, the acting and the performing and all of that kind of thing. And so I decided, what can I do to go back to that? And I decided to start taking piano lessons again. And just to do something that was creative and fun, that no one was going to pay me for, but just was fun. Next week, I'm actually, if you get my emails, I just sent this out in an email today or yesterday. My podcast is finally launching. So it's something that I decided to, over the summer I was going to do. Took me way longer than I thought it was going to take to finally press publish and get it all done. But I thought, my podcast it's not related to Hey Girl You Can. It's not related to business. It's literally called Interesting People, Irrelevant Conversations. And why is that? It was because I was like, I'm so burnt out trying to bring value. If you are an entrepreneur or you're in that or you're in this online space, it's bring value, bring value, bring value. And I thought, I'm tired of bringing value. I just want to do something fun. And I thought, what do I love to do? I love to get together with people and just kind of chat, like just talk about them, get to know them, their situation. And wouldn't it be great to just have those conversations that bring people together, like sitting around your living room, drinking like lattes or wine or margaritas or whatever it is you like to drink, right? And so that's why I started the podcast. And hopefully it will bring me a lot of joy, right? So what is it that brings you joy? Maybe when you were younger, you played sports and you really loved soccer or tennis or golf. And maybe just with life and the pressure of kids and family and responsibility and jobs, we stop doing those things, right? Maybe you really love going out and being around people. But again, responsibility, life, pressure has stopped you from hanging out and going out with girlfriends. Or maybe you love to travel. Or maybe you love to read. And you just think, I don't have time to do that anymore. Or maybe you love to go to the movies and you just think, oh, I don't have time to do that anymore. I just go to see movies with my kids, right? But I want you to today, for today's question number 3, is I want you to write down the things that you really enjoy, the things that you really love that fill you up, right? And it could be going to a concert. Maybe it's music related. Maybe you love to cook. And instead you've gotten into a routine of kind of heating up dinner and making the same things over and over, but you really love to bake or be creative with your cooking. It can be anything, right? It could literally be, I love to organize. It could be, I love to go sit in the library and read books. It could be, I love to take a walk in nature and I just don't take the time to do that. Like, maybe you love to volunteer and you've just gotten busy and you don't do that either, right? And this is where I think for a lot of us, we kind of forget sometimes who we are in the process of our life. We move away from the things that bring us joy, the things that bring us fulfillment, because we're moving closer, or we become more cluttered with our obligations, with the things that our job needs from us, that other people need from us, our spouse, our children, our church, all of these places, right, that are pulling for our attention. So we start to move away from who we are, the essence of us, the stuff that we truly joy, that brings us joy, that lights us up. That, when you're doing it, you're like, oh my gosh, how did 6 hours pass? I can't believe how late it got. Maybe you love doing puzzles or crocheting. Like, it could literally be anything. And if you're like, I don't know, I haven't done that in so long, again, you're going to go back to, what did you used to do? Now, I am curious, and I'd love for you guys to put in the comments, are you currently doing those things? Are you currently doing the things that you're writing down that you really love to do? All right, so tomorrow we'll get into a different part of this, but today, again, we're just looking to pinpoint those things. All right, and here's what I do know. We are energetic beings, right? We literally are spinning balls of energy. And a lot of times what we're doing is either generating more energy or draining our energy. And when we do things that we enjoy, that we love, that bring us, pleasure, fulfillment, all of that, we generate more energy. We're more aligned. Our soul is more aligned with who we are and what we're about and what we, exist here for. And it re-energizes us, right? But when we don't do those things, it's literally just draining the energy out of us. So this year, for this year, we want to look and say, how can I start to maybe just sprinkle some of those things in? And again, tomorrow that's going to be what we're going to dive into. But I am excited to see how in the next 20 days, as we go through these questions, you just become a little bit more aware of what is working in your life and what you would like to change, and then have a real strategic plan by the time we're done, that you have a plan in place to set this year up to be your best year, to be the year that you feel fulfilled, that you feel joy, that you feel productive, that you feel like at the end of the year, you're like, that was a really great year. And that you're proactive in your year. So, that's one of the words I'm focusing on. How can we be proactive and take charge of our year? So if you did not grab the workbook, it is in the comments. If you're in the Hey Girl You Can community, please hop over into our private Facebook group, put in there and say, hey, this is what, these are the things that bring me joy. This is what I really love. We can dive deeper into that and we can kind of do some coaching with that. If you're not in our community and you're like, I need to get into a community, I need to be around like-minded people, right now it's $8 a month to join. Now, whenever you watch this video, that may have changed, but the way it works is you get grandfathered in on the price that you come in. So I always say it's not going to get lower. It could go up. Come in as low as you can, because this is where you're going to get a lot more meat and potatoes. All right. And we are going to have about 2 weeks from now, 3 weeks from now, we have our total transformation day. So this is for that person who's really ready for a transformation. They're really ready to kind of pivot, turn things around for this next year and head into a direction that is with focus, with purpose, where we really dive deep. that whole day to transform. I want you to think of like a butterfly. I love the word transformation. I always think of butterflies. You know, they go into the cocoon, they spend some time in there, but when they come out, they're this beautiful butterfly. That's what the day is like. It is about going into this cocoon, spending one day. We work together one day. It's in a small group setting over Zoom. We all come together. I'm going to teach you my very best stuff, but then you're going to emerge as this beautiful butterfly into this year. So I've got lots of good stuff for you, but just show up every day. Just set your settings here on Facebook or wherever you're watching, YouTube, LinkedIn, so that you get notified. Every day I'm going live. We're tackling one of the questions, diving deep, so that you can have your best life. Not so somebody else can, not so I can. It's so that you can. All right. So I can't wait to hear what brings you joy and what fulfills you.